In a village in the Caucasus, there lived a rich man named Izmail. He was conceited and miserly. He was once invited to a feast in another village. He got very drunk there and then rode home lonely. He is going sitting in the saddle. He was just going down the mountain when he got dizzy and fell from his horse into a deep pit. The pit was dug by hunters as a trap for animals. Izmail sits in the pit and hears roaring and hissing. However, he does not see anyone because it is completely dark in the pit. Izmail was frightened and called, "Help! Pull me out!" A peasant was walking here, heard a scream, ran to the pit. He looks down, but the pit is deep. You can't see the bottom. He quickly made a pole, lowered it into the pit, and said, "Hey, you who fell down, grab the pole. I pull you up." He thought that a person would climb out, but a red fox climbed out. She waved her tail and disappeared into the mountain. The farmer thinks, "How strange! Perhaps the fox spoke with a human voice?" He was about to move on when he heard again from the pit, "Help me, pull me out of the pit. My name is Izmail, and I come from a neighboring village. I will reward you richly." The farmer was happy because he needed money for his daughter's wedding. He made a second pole, longer and thicker than the first, and lowered it into the pit. "Hold well," he shouts. "I'll get you out right away." Someone grabbed the pole, someone very heavy, almost tore it from the farmer's hands. And after a while, a bear climbed out of the hole. The peasant was frightened. He wanted to run away, but an even more pleading voice came out from the pit. "Save me! I'll give you whatever you ask for." So he returned to the pit, lowered the pole again. Someone is climbing it. A giant snake crawled out, nodded his head, and disappeared into the grass. "Now no one will deceive me," thought the peasant, and wanted to escape. But from the pit only someone shouts, "Save me! I am rich Izmail." The peasant stopped and thought, "I know that Izmail after all. It really is his voice." He lowered the pole into the pit again, and now the rich man Izmail actually climbed out. He dusted himself off, and without even looking at his savior, mounted his horse and rode away. The peasant was so surprised by this all that he did not even know how he got home. He came and opens his mouth in amazement. The yard is full of chickens, geese, and turkeys. The fox drove them here. She sits in the corner and wipes her mouth. "That's because you saved me," she says. The farmer looks in the other corner. There is a pile of wood. There the bear sits and wipes himself with his paw. "That's because you didn't let me perish in the pit," he says. The farmer looks at the step, and there is a snake lying. He raised his head, handed him the gem, and said, "That's because you pulled me out of the pit." The peasant took the stone and looked at it. By the time he came to his senses, and there was no one in the yard. "I have wood for the whole winter. I have food for the whole winter," he thinks happily. "And I will sell the gem. It will be for my daughter's wedding." He went to the goldsmith. The goldsmith looked at the jewel. "The stone is of immense value. Where did you steal it, you scoundrel?" he cried. "You must have killed someone." People ran, tied the peasant's hands, and led him to the judge. "Where did you get the gem from?" asked the judge. "Who did you rob? Who did you kill?" "I didn't rob or kill anyone. It was given to me by a snake that got into the pit together with the rich man Izmail. Call now Izmail. He will testify that I am telling the truth." And he told everything that happened. They both Izmail. "Were you really in the pit with the snake, the fox, and the bear, and this farmer really dragged you out?" asked the judge. "I didn't see any pit," says Izmail. "This drunkard is rambling." The peasant was stunned by so much ingratitude. He cried out, "And who begged me to save you? You. Who promised to give me whatever I asked for? You. And now you say I'm lying." "You are just a drunkard and a thief." "I did ask you for anything, and I didn't promise you anything," says Izmail. "Or maybe have you witnesses? Well, let them testify that you are telling the truth." The judge said, "You have no witnesses. You are a liar, a murderer, and a thief. And you even dare to lie to such a respectable and rich person as Izmail. The death penalty awaits you for all this." He motioned the guards, "Seize him and throw him in prison." The guards approached to take the peasant away. But at that moment screams were heard, and people ran in all directions. A bear, a fox, and a huge snake entered the yard. They bowed to the judge and said, "We came to testify that the peasant is telling the truth and Izmail is lying. The peasant saved the three of us and this ungrateful man who had promised him everything at first, and now accused him here." The animals surrounded Izmail and said, "Answer, did you sit with us in the pit, and this man saved you?" The rich man trembled, fell to the ground, and confessed, "Yes, the man was telling the truth." Then the judge returned the gem to the farmer and released him. My dears, in life you have to count on everything, and sometimes even you have to count on the good.